Hey guys, Pete with Leisure Time here, and today we're looking at a 2022 Hot Springs relay. Today, this one's a little bit more unique because I call this a COVID tub. So for a short time during COVID and the aftermath of COVID, Hot Springs had a hard time getting certain parts, mostly like computer chips or semiconductor chips or something for their circuit boards that they make in-house. And typically a relay or a rhythm is going to have a hawk box for the circuit board. But like I said, since they had a hard time getting some of those parts for their circuit boards, they temporarily switched over to a Gecko control pack for these. And you can see that that's a blue box right here. It's got a Hot Springs sticker on it, but it is a Gecko control pack that they put in there. So this one's a little bit different, and so the wiring is set up differently. And so anyway, it's this pump right back in here. It's fairly accessible, not too big of a problem. What's cool about this one is the heating element is not connected to the control box, and so they are two separate things. And I can remove these parts to get them out of my way so I can get access to the pump in there. But anyways, what we'll have to do is get the tub drained, and then we'll start pulling parts out after it's empty. Okay, the tub is drained. We're going to go ahead and start pulling the pump out. First thing I'm going to do is loosen up the union nuts on the pipe. And the best tool to do that with is this filter wrench that you can find at an auto parts store. It does really good at grabbing onto those union nuts, cracking them loose. Also, it's adjustable. You can do different sizes. It goes from about a 2-inch and you can go down to 1.5 inches. It also has short handles so you can get into some of those tight areas. I found another one of these at Harbor Freight that has longer handles. I mean, it'll do the job, but doesn't quite do as good as the ones with the shorter handle. Okay, so once the union nuts are cracked loose on there, the next thing I want to do is remove the air bleeder line that's right here, because if you don't remove that, you could run the risk of breaking that off, and then you're in a world of hurt. So I'm going to remove that clamp there, and then I'm going to use just a cigarette lighter here to warm up that line, and it should start getting flexible. Just a minute. You don't want to hold the flame in one spot. Just enough so it pops right off. There. Now you don't run the risk of breaking off that little bleeder. I'm also going to remove this hose clamp holding on the Mozzie injector, because that's a little bit in my way, and I want to try and get everything I can out of my way to make the job easier. Make sure you don't lose your O-rings. Got 2 Phillips head screws holding down the plate of the jet pump. Now the pump should come straight out. Alright, on the back of the pump you have this big copper wire. It's the bonding wire for the ground. You can use a flathead to remove that. Okay, once that's all out and removed, I'm now going to open up the circuit board and disconnect the wires from the circuit board. Now anytime you're doing a wiring job or anything electrical and you don't feel comfortable about where the wires go, it's always a good idea to snap a picture with your cell phone. Then you can go back to that picture as a reference on where the wires plug into. Another thing you can do is just have your new pump sitting ready to go in. First thing I'm going to do is remove the ground. I've got the new pump here to swap out, and I'm going to run my wires around this stud and up into the control box. So it's ready to go in, and I do one wire at a time. Plug that one in, and then of course we'll remount our ground wires. But now you put everything back exactly how it was. You don't get them mixed up. Next thing we have to do is remove the old pump from the mounting plate and mount the plate to the new pump. And remove the rubber grommets from the bottom of the pump. I'm going to get the old pump out of the way. Something we need to do though is remove the air bleeder nipple from the bottom of the wet end here. On the old pump, we're going to screw that onto our new pump. The rubber grommets that go on the bottom, what I have found over the years, that it becomes easier if you actually just slice off these little tags and just set them on the thing and then put the pump on top of the mounting plate. Now, like I said, just set this new pump right down on top of the rubber grommets. And then drive the mounting bolts back in again. Okay, now before we get too far ahead of ourselves and put that pump back in there and start putting water, I have learned that over the years that it's best to turn on the breaker and test the pump, kind of do a dry fire just for a minute and see what happens. Make sure that thing's running correctly. So I'm going to go turn on the power. See. Okay, so we turned that on, tested the high speed and low speed. Everything sounds great. It's working. So we will put everything back together again, get water in it, and run it again and make sure everything's working. Okay, first we're gonna plug in our bleeder line at the bottom. And then reconnect our unions. And reconnect this one. Don't forget the O-ring that we took out. Goes onto the heater first. There we go. And then go back and tighten everything down. Stick in those Phillips screws that screw the mounting plate down to the bottom. Okay, now the bleeder line here. Okay, now we can start putting water back in it. Okay, so we got water going in. The customer's gonna finish filling it up and turn it on and run it and everything. But what we did is we put a small space heater inside the equipment area, and this is recommended for cold climate areas. If something ever goes wrong with the tub and it takes a little bit for the technician to get out there, you keep a small space heater in there with the cord dangling out, and you just have to plug it in. Keep that equipment area warm until we can get out to work on it. Since the pump is under warranty still, I'm gonna pack it back up again, and we're gonna send it off to Hot Springs so that they can warranty it for us. And that's how you do a pump exchange on a 2022 relay. Thanks for watching.